Okay, signals in suburb area, technology, network problem, internet connection, making all students participate. Okay, the challenge mostly internet connection and network. Okay, making all students participates. That's very good, Ibu Jumiarti. Yeah, with blended learning, then the students can think about their own time. Yeah, so it's more personalized. Yeah, so that's a challenge for us when we design a material. Any other challenge other than the connection and okay, so there are some challenges and also a lot of positive as well. Yeah. Okay. Now let me share creating a blended learning course materials. That's what I did. Think of your students. I think of my students, thinking of motivation, high motivation and low motivation. Some are motivated, some are not. That's normal. That's in a university setting. Then I'm also thinking of the bandwidth that I'm going to use. Some of you have a problem with connections. Some people live in a suburb that doesn't have 4G, it's only 3G. So I have to be careful when I design materials in the red zone here, which needs video conference. For example, Zoom like this, like 1 hour Zoom. It's not good at all. So I have to think about audio conferences. The yellow area here have to be careful to have video and streaming and also audio recorded, because this is a high bandwidth. Yeah, expensive, difficult to access, make the student frustrated because of the connection, and so on and so on. So I have to think of that. Then I have to utilize the low bandwidth activities, collaborative document, a group chat using WhatsApp group, using Telegram group, discussion board, using a lot of pictures in that instead of video, and so on. And I'm using email as well. Yeah. So this is the consideration when because we're going to use the internet connection, and not everybody has a good connection. Yeah. So I put that in consideration. So I consider the motivation. I'm considering the network. Yeah. Now, first that I have to think is the course objective, of course, the goal of the, yeah. Then after I'm thinking of the objective, then I'm thinking of how should I deliver that, what activities, then I'm thinking of the technology. Jangan dibalik, biasanya teknologinya dulu, terus baru ribut cari materinya. No, it should be the learning objective first, then you design the activities, then you think of the technology. Yeah, so one is at the time. Now, most technology tools were created for business. Most technology tools were created for pleasures. Most technology tools were created for entertainment, because that's what the company wants. They want money. So they use that for business, pleasures, and entertainment, and but not for education. Yeah, it's very rarely were invented with education in mind. Yeah, because of that, then looking at laureate framework. Yeah, that's 2009. So this is the learning types become the compass for me when I design a blended learning. The learning management system, it's for a company, it's for training, not for education. So I have to be careful with that. Then I found somehow 2012, I found this learning types proposed by Laurie Rudd with his framework, oh sorry, her framework. So I'm looking at acquisition, inquiry, discussion, practice, collaboration, and production. So I want my students to learn or to achieve the objective through this 6 learning type. Not necessarily all in one, but I have to look at one by one carefully. Then I design or decide the technology tools afterward. Yeah, let's give me an example. How many of you familiar with lo.org? Can you respond that in the chat, please? Just yes or no. Are you familiar with lo.org? No, no, I'm not Muhammad Rahmat. No, no, sir. Okay. So I'm familiar with Padlet. Yeah, okay. Yes, for listening. Okay. So if you need your student for acquisition, if the objective is so that they can listen something they understand through listening or through reading to acquire something, then you have to give a lot of exposure. One of the exposure that most teachers complain is listening exposure. So you go to lo.org, then there are a lot of listening materials from very beginning to beginners to advanced. There are a lot of games, there are a lot of videos. Some videos are blocked by our government because it's Vimeo, but you can use the audio for sure. Yeah, so explore that. That's give the student can acquire on their own time outside the classroom. So it's very good to be blended with the activity inside the classroom. I'm using a lot of activities using Padlet. I think some of you familiar with Padlet. Yeah. Are you familiar with Padlet? Can you respond in the chat box, please? Yes? Okay, good. So you can post a lot of things in Padlet. You can give a lot of assignment in Padlet, because Padlet is like magic wall to me. You can post a video, for example, ask the student to watch the video, then they can respond under that video. Yeah. Or you can just post a picture, then the students can respond to the picture here. Yeah, what do you think about this picture and so on? Or you can assign your student to read, then they respond here. So the students should, you give the exposure, then the students work on that. You can have it face-to-face, you can have it synchron, very short, then you can have a follow-up on Padlet, for example. Yeah, there are a lot of other technology other than Padlet, which is similar, but I'm using Padlet, so a little bit fanatic on that when giving exposure, because the student doesn't need to have an account for that. Yeah. Okay, so that's Padlet. Yeah, for acquisition, to give exposure to the students. If listening, I'm using LO. I'm thinking of low bandwidth. Some people think using YouTube, for example. Yeah, that's higher bandwidth. Yeah. If you can find the material in LO, why should you go to YouTube with a video, for instance? Yeah. So acquisition is listening to lecture, listening to podcast, reading, watching, listening, and so on. So you can use technology, like I mentioned earlier, LO, or you can put the material in Padlet. Yeah. Okay, so that's, I'm thinking of, that's a framework. Yeah. How about the next one? How many of you familiar with weclat.com? Can you respond in the chat box, please? Are you familiar with this or no? No, sir. Nasrullah, new. Okay. No, no, no. Good. Yeah. It's good for inquiry. It's good for research if you are S2 students or if you are a lecturer. It's an inquiry method that you can use in Wakelet. Wakelet is a place where you share materials collaboratively with your friend. Yeah, basically, it's you can share text, you can share picture, you can share a video, you can share an article. Yeah, I'm going to give you an illustration, then you explore later. Yeah, this is Wakelet that I use with my friend to do. Oh, I have to put it active. I have to do this when we try to do small research. Yeah, you can assign this for a group work to the students. You can ask them to go to find a website with certain. Okay, I put it Jati. Certain topics, then it's a place for a collective work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is apps for evaluation. So I put this here, I put that there by Jati. I share it with my friend. Then here, somebody said, Pak, near port is also good. They put it there, you know, Socrative, and so on. So it's a collection of text, collection of website, collection of apps, suggestion, and so on. Yeah, to be pulled in a place. Then here, they can give comment about this. They can give a summary. They can say, oh, this is not good, oh, this is brilliant from this point. So it's a place for a discussion. It's very similar to if you discuss it in the Google Doc, for example, but this is more complete by and very, very handy. Yeah. So you can think about that when you're going to apply inquiry. So the students find the material through investigation, find resources, evaluate the resources, what they find, then they share with their friends or a team in Wakelet. Yeah, so that's the idea. I did that with my students as well. Yeah. Now, another apps. How many of you familiar with three-sider? Can you respond in the chat box, please? Three-sider, yes or no? No? Okay. It's new, not familiar. Okay. Three-sider is a place where you can have a discussion with a low bandwidth. Balik lagi karena kita hidup di 62 kadang-kadang sangat sulit dengan bandwidth. So we have to find a lot of apps or alternative apps that we can use a lot of discussion. Discussion using Zoom, for example, in a breakout group, it's very good, but then it's need a high bandwidth. Yeah. Now, Presider is a text space for discussion. Yeah. Later, you can access my presentation slide. Then you can click tutorial. I give you tutorial there. Now, let's try asynchronous discussion. If you are friend with me in the Facebook, I try some discussion asynchronous like this, the same thing. Yeah. So this is an example all about online. That's a topic. Then anyone can click at idea. What's the idea? Here I put the ideas. E-learning requires self-motivation. Then you can say pro or cons here. You can have a vote and so on. Yeah, so that's the idea. Can be done synchronously if you want to. Can be done asynchronously. Yeah. So this is a discussion for debate in asynchronous with low bandwidth. Yeah. The students can click the add idea and click add some more ideas on that. Yeah, they can respond to their friends' ideas, pro and cons, and so on. The ideas is not necessary in the text. You can put picture here. You can put a video link in here. So you can have a debate about video and so on and so on with low bandwidth tools. Yeah, it's called three-sider. So if you haven't done it, explore that. Yeah, it can be very, very powerful. If you give a task to your student to do a project in a video format, for example, or in a poster, ask them to put the poster here in the ideas. Then ask other students to respond, like pro and cons and criticize and so on and so on. So we need to manipulate these apps somehow, yeah, in our, again, blended setting. Okay, so that's three-sider, yeah.